So what I'm going to be sharing with you today is a lesson that I taught a couple months ago in one of my coaching calls. And one of my coaching students said, I think you need to be sharing that with the world, because the world needs to not just see the success that people have, but they need to also know the mistakes that a lot of successful people make. Now, again, I don't personally think that I am as successful as I really should be. In other words, I ain't where I want to be, even though I'm not where I used to be. But I felt that it could definitely bring value to you and be beneficial to you for what it's worth. Now, the reason why I'm using my phone and I have these 7 mistakes in my notes, because I don't want to think about them anyway, so I better have them in my notes, because I don't want to go back to where these mistakes had me, and I definitely don't want you to experience any of these mistakes. So here are 7 mistakes I made as an owner of a 7-figure enterprise. Mistake number 1, I didn't go big enough. I didn't go big enough. I didn't go big enough personally, professionally, or financially. I didn't go big enough in my dreams, in my goals, or in my actions. And, you might have heard my story. I come from a background where I lived as a drug-addicted criminal all of my teenage years. Both of my parents, which have since died and gone on to be with the Lord, my parents were addicted to crack, and I grew up in that epidemic era, and I followed suit, being a drug-addicted criminal, going in and out of jail, and I lived that life up until 2 months shy of my 21st birthday, which was October the 11th, 1997, where I got saved in a trap house. I got clean, I got sober, and I became a productive citizen, shy of my 21st birthday. A couple years later, I met my beautiful wife. We got married, and for the last 23 plus years, I've lived here in Atlanta. I'm originally from South Florida. And my wife and I, when we got married, we both made a commitment to God to serve in ministry and to serve in the marketplace as entrepreneurs. And that is how my life has been, at least for the last 28 years since I got saved and clean, and 23 years since I got married. I'm bringing that whole entire storyline up because my upbringing in poverty, in drug addiction, and in that type of world, it really affected how I saw myself once I became clean, once I became a productive citizen, and even once I got married and decided that I wanted to be not just in ministry because I was called to that, but once I decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur, because I had this limited belief that if I could just live like the middle class live, because that's what I was surrounded by. I was surrounded by middle class people who thought if you got 2 cars, a nice little house, and a good job, or a business that's making a little money, you done made it. That's the American dream. But I'm telling you, it was a mistake. I didn't go big enough. And I stayed stuck in that trap way too long. So that's mistake number 1. I didn't go big enough. And that means I didn't go big enough in my dreams, my goals, my actions. I should have had delusions of grandeur, and I should have stuck with them. I did at some point in my childhood, but I lost that. I gave up on that, like a lot of people do. And a lot of times, because I'm a witness of that, children, young adolescents, even preteens, they have those dreams, those goals, but they might not really know how to take those actions. And if those dreams and goals die, if people don't support them, they tend to redirect that energy towards drugs and other things like I did. I'm not blaming that. I'm just saying that contributed to why I lived the life that I lived in my teenage years. So anyway, first mistake, I didn't go big enough. Number 2, I didn't plan for enough problems. In other words, in real estate, we call it underwriting the deal. Or in the Bible, we call it counting up the costs. I didn't plan for enough problems. We don't really do risk management properly, especially financially. We don't plan for enough problems. We just swear up and down, everything gonna be peaches and cream. No, it ain't. Bad things are gonna happen to good people. Crazy things are going to happen to sane people. Demonic things are going to happen to divine-minded people. It's just the way it is. The Bible says the rain falls on the just and the unjust. And we need to do better planning for problems. I didn't plan for enough problems. So when the problem showed up, of course, I had to roll up my sleeves and I had to figure it out and make it happen. But I could have mitigated a lot of those risks had I pre-planned for those problems. That's mistake number 2. Number 3, I didn't grow in my consistency. I didn't grow in my consistency. What do I mean by that? Well, I was very inconsistent in my discipline and my behavior patterns. So, for example, if I set a New Year's resolution, okay, I'm going to work out every day, I'm going to eat this way, and I'm going to pray this way, and I'm going to fast, and I'm going to study, and I'm going to read this many books. I didn't grow in my consistency because I kept letting myself off the hook, if that makes sense. So when you let yourself off the hook, you don't grow in your consistency. And I had to learn that when I keep letting myself off the hook and keep breaking my own promises, I'm really destroying my own credibility. I'm really doing damage to my personal integrity. And so the third mistake was I didn't grow in my consistency. Number 4, I didn't delay gratification long enough. I didn't delay gratification long enough. I bought the car when I should have just waited to buy the car. I bought the phone. I could have just kept the old phone a little bit longer. I bought the shoes. I don't even wear the shoes. And the cheap shoes feel better anyway. I bought the suit. Whatever the thing is, I did something I shouldn't have done. I spent money on my business when I should have just rolled up my sleeves again and just put sweat equity in. Whatever the case is, I didn't delay gratification long enough. Delayed gratification is a discipline. It is a muscle. It should be a spiritual experience for us, because when you can put off for a day in the future what you really think or believe and feel convicted about you need to do today, you become a master at delayed gratification, and it can bankrupt you financially, especially if you're an entrepreneur, okay? All right, number 5, the 5th mistake, I didn't pivot quick enough. Oh my God, I'm telling you, that's why I got this in my notes, because I don't even want to remember these crazy mistakes. I didn't pivot quick enough. So, hindsight is 20/20. So when I think about things I could have pivoted out of and into during the Great Recession, I missed it. I didn't miss it during COVID. Okay, when COVID hit, I saw the writing on the wall. I had already been preparing, and I told my wife, I remember we had to talk when we got the announcement that America is shutting down. I remember me and my wife having a conversation, and I was like, listen, we missed '08, but we ain't finna miss 2020. And we started making certain pivots. And from that time to this time, as of the time of this video is 2026, I still make sure that I'm pivoting ahead of whatever the next thing is. So I didn't pivot quick enough with people. I didn't pivot quick enough in places, and I didn't pivot quick enough in with things. Mistake number 6, I didn't learn enough. It took me so long as an entrepreneur to pay for coaching. I don't know why it took me that long, because I'm a preacher. So in ministry, you have spiritual fathers and mothers and mentors. You pay your tithes, you sow into people's ministry, you partner. So I knew that mentorship and the concept of it was important in ministry. For some reason, it just didn't resonate that, yeah, you could just pay people a certain dollar amount and get in any room you want to get in and rub shoulders with anybody. You can learn what this guy, gal, took 40 years to learn in 4 days or 4 hours or 4 weeks if you just pay. And I guess my ego wouldn't allow me to pay, and so I didn't learn enough quick enough. That should be the caveat. Quick enough. I definitely could have curbed the time that it took for me to learn a lot of the things that I'm doing now, especially in business. I'm a private equity fund manager. We have a private equity firm. All the things that I do as a consultant and coach and educator, I could have sped that up and saved about 12 or 13 years, okay? And number 7, I didn't invest enough. I definitely didn't invest enough. There's a difference between spending and saving. And the thing is, even when I stopped spending, I started saving only for something to come up, the rainy day stuff, and I spend what I saved. What I should have been doing was investing instead of spending and instead of saving. Because if I invested it, when a rainy day came up, well, we just finna get wet. So those are the 7 mistakes I made. And again, I'm fortunate to be the owner of a 7-figure enterprise, but I should be saying I'm the owner of a 10-figure enterprise had I not made these 7 mistakes within the last 2 decades of being an entrepreneur. Don't you make the same mistakes. And if you have made them, correct them now, because remember, pivoting quick enough is one of the mistakes I made that you shouldn't make.